Welcome back to the Blowout Podcast. As a sports fan, you know not all games are created equally. Whether it's a 30-point blowout or a double overtime thriller, HBC Sports has you covered.
The winner will host Hamlin in the championship game on Saturday. Sending it in front, loose in front of the goal! It's Bruce scoring! With the game winner for the Cardinals. Oh, what a finish.
I'm your host, Ty Schwartzlow, and if you don't find that exciting, do me a favor. Check your pulse. Hello again, and welcome back to the Blowout Podcast. I am your host, Ty Schwartzlow, joined along with three members of the Winona State women's basketball program, head coach Scott Ballard, junior guard Connor Nagle, as well as freshman forward Hannah McGlone. Guys, talk to me a little bit about this past season, and it was a very interesting season from the sense of you had a bit of adversity that you saw last season, you had some new faces. What were your expectations, and how did they kind of relate to the end outcome that you saw from this past basketball season? We'll start with you, Connor.
Well, coming into this season, I knew we had a lot of returners coming back. We lost a good chunk of very talented seniors, so I knew over the summer that all of us wanted to prove our spot and wanted to play this season, so I knew coming back into it that we'd all worked hard and we were ready, to fight for that spot. So I was happy, coming back, we were all in shape, we were ready to go, and then preseason polls came out and we were put 12th, and honestly, I'm glad that happened because that was just a true motivator for all of us. It was like we worked hard over the summer, and now you think so low that you're going to put us at 12th. Now, we're going to show you who we really are. So I'm glad that happened, and I'm happy with the way we overcame some stuff this past season. And I'm ready for next year. I think we'll be back even more ready.
Coach Ballard, how big from a motivating perspective was that? Obviously, it may have resonated a little bit more with the players that being picked to finish 12th within the preseason poll, and it's important to mention that poll was taken before the knowledge of Alexis Foley and her transfer. How much motivation did that provide this team?
Well, I think if you back up a little bit, probably the first motivating factor was the frustrating season that we went through the previous year because of the injuries and all the youth and inexperience that we had on our team. When the poll came out, that was just kind of a slap in the face to a lot of us because we knew how much we had improved in the off season from being committed and hard work. We also knew that the addition of Hannah and Kayla Timmerman and Alexis Foley, we knew that really improved our talent pool and additionally our depth. So we knew when we were going through preseason workouts and stuff that we had a chance to be pretty good. But everybody thinks they have a chance to be pretty good when you're in preseason. You haven't lost a game since the previous March, and everybody's optimistic. So until you confirm it, once you start playing games and beat some quality teams, there's always a little bit of guarded optimism there. But we were motivated because we wanted. We called this a year of redemption when we first came back to school in the fall. Yes, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And and that wasn't as much to do with where we were picked in the poll as it was how frustrated and mad we were about our record the year before. We went through a lot of adversity with injuries and then losing some key people that played a lot that year. It was these people, the returners, it was their turn to step up going into this season, and they knew that, at the end of the previous year, and so they worked really hard. And then when the poll came out and they were picked 12th, it was like, there's not much respect there for us. So we kind of played with a chip on our shoulder and played a little bit angry, and I want us to hang on to that for next year.
Hannah, talk to me a little bit about, from your perspective, entering in as a freshman. I'm assuming you knew that this team could compete. However, how did that make you feel to see that 12th ranking in the preseason poll? And just in a general sense, how were you able to see how this group and this culture that is in place at Winona State kind of is able to use some of those things as motivation?
Well, coming in as a freshman, I didn't play with them last year, but seeing them in preseason and like practicing with them every single day, especially like with people with Kayla and Zeb on the same team, like going against them every single day, you know you can compete with people. And like after we got Foley as well, you could tell that we were going to be a team that you need to actually take seriously. And I know for me, I just really wanted to work harder and harder to be at one of those top spots to help them out.
And Coach Ballard just mentioned he wants you to hold on to that concept. At any point, did that kind of get pushed into the back burner, or was that constantly at the forefront? I even remember, Connor, you saying it was in the back of some people's lockers even. At any point, did that get pushed to the back burner?
No way. It's still up there.
Still there.
Yeah. Honestly, when we are still doing workouts now, we'll reference a couple teams' names. Like, you know, they don't care if we're hurting, if we're sweating, if we're crying. So I think, yeah, all of us just have that drive that whoever we're playing, you know, we need to just take it to them. So
one area you really demanded respect throughout the rest of the conference was your play at home this season, a 14-1 record. What was the biggest reason in your mind for the success that this team had at home this season?
Well, I think, you know, you're comfortable at home, so that just makes it a big part. You get to sleep in your own bed, you're on your own meal schedule, you know, and I think you just have your ritual that you're in. So when you're at home, it's just, you don't think twice about it, you know, like, okay, I got to eat at 9 and then whenever the bus leaves. So we're all very comfortable, and just being at home crowd, our gym where we practice every day, and then as the season went on, I think it just turned into a thing of like, we're at home, we're going to use this to our advantage, we haven't lost yet, and so I think we twisted it that way eventually.
Yeah. I think it was also a sense of pride we had. Home court, we didn't want to, no one beats us on home court, it's ours.
Yeah.
It's where we win.
And do you think that that is beginning to build upon itself as you enter next season? Do you expect that that's going to be an even more formidable place for opponents to play?
Yeah, for sure. I hope next year when teams come in, they have the mindset, like, this is going to be difficult. They've only lost one game here all of last year. You know, they need to come ready to play because we have the mindset, we're not losing to you at our own gym. So,
Coach Ballard, talk to me a little about the Wayne State victory at home, and it occurred to me throughout the course of that game, you could see from the Wildcats' perspective, despite what they had accomplished this season, that it would take a near-perfect game to upset you guys at home. What, from a coaching perspective, do you take away from a game like that, and knowing any team throughout the conference is going to have to play some of their best games just to compete with you at home?
Well, you know, when you play at home, it's important to defend your home floor because it's even much more difficult to win on the road. And so there's the old cliche or mindset that you got to win your home games and then try to win half your road games if you want to be playing for high stakes at the end of the year. And you know, it's something that just evolved as the season went along. You know, we start off with 3 non-conference home wins, and then I can't even remember who was our Upper Iowa was our first home conference game, and then we had Sioux Falls. That was a big win for us, and well, prior to that we had Concordia, Mankato, and that may be where we really started to believe in what we were doing with our defense and sharing the ball and how good of a team we could become, because those were 2 quality teams that you knew before it all started that you were going to have to go through them if you wanted a chance to, you know, play at home in the playoffs. But playing at home, like Connor said, it's a comfort thing, it's a confidence thing. That's where you practice and shoot the majority of the time. If you go through some rough spots during the course of a game, you've got the crowd to feed off their energy. And at our place, you know, the crowd gets bigger as the game goes along because the men are going to play after us, and a lot of people are going to show up 10 minutes, you know, before a game is over, and that's when you want them there because the game is winding down, and if it's a tight game, you need that extra, you know, energy and effort. But you know, we had a lot of exciting wins at home. And the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, we started to experience some exciting wins on the road. But the Wayne State game, we knew when we played at their place, and they beat us by 20, we knew that was maybe the worst game that we played all year. And it's unique playing against them because they're the only team in the league that just plays zone the entire game. But I remember when we were walking down to the locker room after that game was over at Wayne, there wasn't anything to feel really good about ourselves the way that we played. We had turnovers right and left. We shot poorly. We didn't defend well. We fouled all the time. We let them get in transition a lot. But when we were walking down to the locker room in the hallway, I told Coach Wirtz and I told Coach McDonald, I said, I can't wait to play them again, because we found some things that we started to do in the last 10, 12 minutes of the game that worked. And we hung on to those things and then just prepared better for them the second time we played them than the first meeting, and really attacked the high post area the whole time. And people made plays, and we got off to a good start, and your confidence grows. And it was a fun game, but we had a lot of those. It was just a different style of game that you had to play against them because they play 2-3 zone all the time.
Yeah, certainly the home success was one theme throughout the season. That theme extended into the postseason. Opening round against Mary. Connor, you had a big three-point shot, your first of the game. It happened to be your 100th career three-point shot. This group appears to be very comfortable in pressure situations. Is that something that improves the more you find yourselves in those situations, or is there something, maybe it's always been the case, there's something you can't quite quantify about rising to those occasions? Which two of those outcomes would you say is more true?
I think now that I'm a little bit older and I have more experience under my belt, I feel like it's just rising to the occasion, and you have to put the ball in the basket. It's nothing you can think about. So, yeah, I'm glad that shot went in. It was the only one of the game. So
we're all glad.
So I'm glad that went in. It was the only one of the game, but that's all right because that's one that mattered the most.
Talk to me about that moment. What is the emotion like? Obviously, the game wasn't quite ended. You had the review going on, but just knowing you made that big of a shot.
Yeah. So Kayla passed it out to me, on the three-point line, and I honestly let it fly, and the ball was a little dramatic, though. It hit the back rim, hit the front rim, then it hung out up there for a little bit, and then it went through. And I just remember, kind of giving a little fist pump there because there was 1 or 2 seconds left, and then I was celebrating, and then I realized the ball was already across half court. But then, the whistles blew, and she didn't take it out of bounds or whatever. So, yeah, I was celebrating there for a couple seconds until I realized, oh my goodness, that they could get a score now. But, yeah, then it went into review, and yeah, it was emotional for sure.
Now that you've had time to kind of reflect upon that, where does that compare with some of the biggest moments you've ever found yourself in from a basketball perspective?
That's by far the best moment I've ever had. I mean, in high school, I hit a half-quarter baseball pass. Would never happen again, ever. So that was fun because it was a rival school, but that game means the most to me because it set us to the next step, and as a team, that's what I wanted, and our team bond this year has just been the best I've ever had on any team, and so I'm glad I was able to push us on to that next step with that shot.
Well,
but of course that didn't come with, Foley got the offensive rebound and Kayla passed it out, so it was just chain of events. So
certainly worked it in your guys' favor, and the whole team's favor for that matter. And Hannah, talk to me a little bit about this culture. And Connor just said this was the closest knit team she's ever been a part of. How important was that welcomeness, whatever word you want to put on it, how important was that for you being able to come in as a freshman and truly contribute to the on-court success?
Well, honestly, when I came on my official visit last fall, I think it was. Yeah. First 10 minutes I walked onto the campus, I felt like I was a part of their team. They're so easy to talk to. They're I can go to anyone on our team and I'm comfortable with them and I know I'm going to be able to laugh with them. And so that coming out of the court, it just makes it so much easier. And you just get really comfortable. And like I know the coaches, they have so much confidence in each and every one of us. Like everyone can hold their own. So.
Victoria Larson put it best, the KQAL, she was announcing for KQAL, and she looked down the bench one time and thought to herself, you don't really see starters and bench players. Everybody seems to have a role and everybody seems to be equally invested. And with that being said, how does the balanced approach translate to the team and individual perspective, Coach Ballard?
Well, what's unique with our group is that we have so many people that can play. And they all bring something different to the table. And the biggest challenge for the coaches is to find moments and times in games and different times during the season to get people in at the right time and the right moments for them to do what they are most confident and most skilled at. And there's so many kids there. Every team has 14, 15 people on their team, but not every team has 14 or 15 people that can actually play. And so, our players understand that we know that all of them want to play, and we want to play all of them, but you don't play that many people in every game. So it requires a lot of maturity, a lot of unselfishness, a lot of trust, a lot of patience on everybody's part to make that work. Our entire team is full of unselfish people. And, everybody has an ego. Coaches have egos, players have egos, competitors have egos, but we have to set the egos aside in order to make everything work and understand that you're part of something that's much bigger than you. And we talk about it at different times of the year, but we talk about it when we recruit them. They all understand that, but the most important thing is that our team scores, our team wins. It's not which person scored or who had the most points. It's which team had the most points. And it's kind of frustrating, honestly, when the year is finished and all conference honors come out and that sort of thing. Again, we felt like we got disrespected and got slapped in the face because we only had one person on our entire squad that received any kind of all-conference recognition, Alexis Foley. There were teams in our league that finished as low as 10th and had 3 people get recognized. It's like, that's just, it makes you feel like it's unfair. It makes you angry, frustrated, whatever. But the bottom line is we're about our team. And we want, the best recognition our team can get is to win and to see how far we can go. And that's something that, we're anxious, excited about next year already, because we know that we have the potential and are capable of going a long ways in the playoffs. If we stay healthy and everybody, again, is unselfish and there's no jealousy and they accept their role and take pride in it. But every person on our team is important. They just have different roles. Some of them may be practice players more than they are game minute players. But that's important. Every team's got those people. We want our people to be the best at that role and in that position, challenging each other. A great example would be Jamie Pitt played very little as a freshman in games, but there were many times in practice that Jamie Pitt did a great job of simulating one of the better offensive guards on the other team and helped us get ready to win. So we wanted to make sure that Jamie understood you're a big part of this win because you help challenge the people that we put out on the floor, for game minutes.
Connor, talk to me a little bit about this culture. We've already established some of the principles, the team-first mentality. How has this culture evolved over your time at Winona State, or has it been largely the same fundamental principles that it's been built upon?
Honestly, I feel like it's been the same throughout. It's always been very close-knit. very focused on school and basketball, and I feel like everyone that has, come into Winona and left, we all have the same morals. It's school, family, relationships that, I'm not sure every school has that. I think there's maybe a couple who, might be a little bit of an outcast, where I feel like we really are a family, and I feel like it's been like that, the past 4 years I've been here, and I've never felt that, oh, this year was different, it was way more these people, and I've honestly never been a part of that while I've been here, so.
Hannah, talk to me a little bit about that family aspect, and specifically Katie Zepsic and her role, being the lone senior. You talked about, you felt a part of this family, even going back to your recruitment. What is going to be let me rephrase that. What is the biggest strength in terms of day-to-day as a teammate, as a fellow family member that Katie brings that you will miss next season?
She has a voice that's stronger and louder than anyone I know. And she brings it every single day. She's always in a good mood. If you're not having a great day, she'll make it better. She'll make you forget about it. When you have practice with her, she wants you to get better. Every day she's teaching me something new, and that I'll miss the most is not learning something from her every single day. And her being a fifth year senior, and I'm just coming in as a freshman, I only get the 1 year with her. I feel like I've learned so much just from her, and not counting all my other teammates who are the same way. We're all very close, and everyone likes to help out the other one.
And maybe, largely because of the team-first mindset, that certainly doesn't stop individual growth we've seen in specific players, and that certainly is not just the players, but the coaching staff as well, with Michelle McDonald, Anna Wirtz, as well as Coach Ballard. How does that variety and those different perspectives help from an individual player's perspective throughout the course of a long season?
Individually, you get the different perspective from all of them. Coach Wirtz is more of the guard set, so she'll tell me what the guards are seeing so I can help them out, so it's easier for them to get a pass in, or I'm getting out of their way, so it flows better. And then you get it from Coach Coach McDonald's point of view, and it's just, she has the same mentality, the 4 or 5 area, and she was also the All-American. She knows it from that perspective. So, and then you get Coach's perspective of seeing what's going on the court and being able to tell us how we're not producing, but not executing things as well. And then I know with Connor on the court, she'll tell me right away if I didn't make the right cut, or if I made a mistake, she'll tell me right away and how to fix it, and that's really helpful.
Connor, how important is it to have that former player perspective from the assistant coaching staff? What do you think is the biggest value from the guard perspective?
I love that Coach Wirtz, like you said, is a former player, because they've been in our shoes. They know what it's like, and it's very easy to respect her. Obviously I respect Coach Ballard, but as Coach Wirtz, taking us apart, guards on one side, posts on the other side, for her to every day continuously for 20 minutes, however long it is, just to continuously, this is what you need to do, this is why. It's very easy to respect her, because it's she was a standout player when she was here. Why would I not listen to this coach, So I really respect everything she has to say, and she's very knowledgeable about what she teaches us, so.
All right, Coach Ballard, obviously being able to take a former player and transition them into the coaching role is something that you have been able to see. What is the toughest part about transitioning from that player perspective to that coaching perspective?
Well, I think probably the biggest challenge for them, being young coaches, is having that separation of friendship. It's different. Coach-player relationships are different than player-player relationships. But if there's a big enough age gap and there's enough confidence that those coaches have in their knowledge and their previous experience as players, and understanding our system, which they do. They both played for 4 years. It's really a blessing for me to have those kind of coaches in place that did the exact same offenses and defenses, and you change some things based on personnel, but as far as philosophy, I could never trust anybody more than what I trust those two with regards to knowing what kind of feedback, input, advice, skill work that they are specializing on with the guards or post play. So they're both like a couple daughters to me, and we can have great discussions. We can disagree, and I'm really proud of the fact that we can discuss things and disagree on things and be really comfortable about sharing that with each other. I may not always agree with what they say, but I always listen to their input, and we do a good job of complimenting each other. It's a perfect fit. It couldn't be any better, and it makes it so much fun. There's just so much trust, and there's no awkwardness. There's nothing that the players have to be concerned about with regards to the coaches being on the same page and having fun with what they're doing. I think that I hope and believe that they all know that we discuss everything before we do it, and so they trust what we tell them, and the coaches trust each other. But I always want my assistants to know that their input is important, and I will listen to it, and it always plays a big part in what we decide to do.
Yeah, it certainly is one of the biggest keys to this program's success, and another one of those keys is something I've been able to witness firsthand with my practice visits, and that's just the sheer amount of joy at practice. You can see, you clearly like being there. It is a lot of fun, and we're running a little bit short on time, so for that reason we're going to have some quick hitters here to finish it off. Hannah, who is the teammate that makes you laugh the hardest?
Either Katie Zepsic or Alexis Foley. And a combination of the both it's a riot.
Okay. Talk to me, who is the most thoughtful teammate, Connor?
Ooh, Callie. Callie is very soft. I honestly don't know if she'd kill a fly if it was like buzzing on her cheek.
We're working on it.
Yeah. She's by far the most thoughtful. I mean, everyone else is very thoughtful as well, but Callie is just very thoughtful.
Final question, if all of you could give an answer. Most unforgettable practice, maybe a whole practice in its entirety, or one finite event you can talk about, of course, on air from practice this season.
You can go first.
Well, that would limit some things, wouldn't it?
Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh. I'm not sure if I have one good, special thing from a practice, but my favorite thing after a home win, if I can throw this in there, we all run down to the locker room. We beat all the coaches there, and after every game, we would listen to the first minute 30 of the song "This Is How We Do" by Katy Perry.
Yep.
And then the next, however long it took for the coaches to come in, we would listen to "Thinking of You" by Kesha, and then we would all dance as a group for a while, and then we'd talk about the game. But yeah, that's my favorite. And then towards the end of the season, we started bringing the speakers on the bus. So, yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
No sense of sarcasm there from the speakers on the bus, Coach Ballard.
No, I mean, it was fun. There's a big age difference between myself and them, but they make it so much fun to go to work every day, and we want to make it fun for them. But we want them to understand that every team has preseason and postseason and plays a conference schedule, but not every team gets the same rewards. And some of our, we're all about we're all about important quotes and cliches, and some of the ones that stick out in my mind from this year is, great rewards come from great challenges. That's one of my favorites. And determination must always overcome frustration, because basketball season is a long season, and everyone is going to go through periods of time, whether it's an injury or foul trouble or things not going your way. it's all about what kind of attitude you choose to have when adversity comes your way. And you can either get bitter or you can get better. And I think this group has really matured a lot over the last year or two in terms of learning how to be a different personality when you're on the floor as a competitor. Connor was talking about Callie being a sweetheart, and we have a lot of sweetheart people on our team, personality-wise. But when you step out on the floor to be a competitor, you can't be a sweetheart. You got to be tough-minded. You got to be, physical. You got to fight. If you want the reward, you got to fight for it. And I think that we are starting to learn how to do that on a consistent basis.
All right, Hannah, I believe we skipped over final practice memory. Or maybe you just wrap up this freshman season for you. What's the one thing you're never going to forget about this past year? Or you're speechless, that's fine.
Yeah, honestly, every day was something new. I'm pretty sure almost every practice there was something that happened that you laughed, you had a good time with. But definitely having the speakers, we started to bring them everywhere. Not only on away trips, but now we have them at practice. Post.
I would say that our leadership on our team, we have such quality people, and we have really strong leadership. In every class, there are some really strong leadership qualities there with the people on our team. And Hannah was talking about Katie Zepsick, but I remember when we were done with our last game, I told Katie in front of everyone that there's a lot of things. She won't be with us as a player, but there's a lot of things that Katie was part of starting here at Winona State and with this team that who knows how long they will carry on. Whether it was pregame warm-up or whether it was music or just things that she would say and do. So that I hope that means a lot to her because it means a lot to us.
I'd certainly like to thank you all for taking the time, joined today by Scott Ballard, Connor Nagle, and Hannah McGlone. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching this edition of the Blowout Podcast. Until next time, have a great day.